we'll be carrying out another genetic crossing using different traits or character to visualize what we're trying to say. Now recall, all these processes occur during reproductive processes in both humans and other lower animals. So I believe you've had a very nice experience and exposure learning genetic crossings as it involves living things, especially humans. Okay, so have you ever wondered children we call sickle cell anemia children? I don't know if you've heard about that or you're just hearing for the first time, but there's what we call sickle cell anemia. It's a disease condition that affects the red blood cell, and in most cases, children who undergo or suffer this condition suffer a lot of crises where you have joint pains, they begin to experience high body temperature, loss of weight, loss of appetite, and a lot of things that makes them to feel uncomfortable. And oftentimes, most of them don't get to live so long. All right, so let's see how we can do a genetic crossing that involves parents who are either normal, who are carriers, or who are sicklers. And this aspect of biology is actually more or less on the moral side, where we tend to advise that before couples get to marry each other, they need to go for a genotype test. And this is conducted in hospitals or other medical facilities to determine if the genotype of the male and the female matches in terms of producing children or babies. In a case where they don't match, we don't advise you go ahead with such relationship. So I'm going to do a genetic crossing to show how the sickler, the normal parent, and the carrier will exist among humans. So a quick one to that, we have what we call the AA genotype, and the genotype is for normal parents. You can write this down in your biology notes, parents who are normal. Then we have what we call the AS genotype. The AS genotype is for carriers. We tag them carriers. You can write this down also in your note. Then the last genotype set here is the SS. Now we call this group of people the sicklers. In a nutshell, these are people who are infested with the condition of sickle cell anemia. So we're going to delete this quickly and do a genetic crossing to determine the outcome of a normal parent getting married to a carrier, and we're going to further it where a carrier marries an SS. So you're going to see the output from there. Now I'm going to wipe this off so that we can start the crossing right away. So I'm wiping it off right away. Just give me a moment to quickly do this. And here we go. All right. So at this point, I want you to be reflecting on what the outcome will be when I cross a normal parent and a carrier parent. So this stands for normal, genotype AA. Then on the other side, we have genotype AS, which is for carriers, as explained earlier. So remember the gene segregation, bring out A as an individual allele, then cycle it for easy identification, bring out the second allele and also cycle it. Then you go to the carrier, also do the same. The A, this is a heterozygous pair of chromosomes. You do this and go. So we have S. Now let's cross and see what the first filial generation will give us. So this goes with this. We have AA. Now AA is homozygous normal parent, meaning they are the same alphabets. Then this will also pair with the next one to give us AS. Remember, alphabetical order, A comes before S, and this is a carrier as well. Then the next pair of allele in the parent 1, we cross with parent 2 to give us AA. And this is a normal child. This child has a normal cell, is not having the trait of sickle cell anemia. Then the last crossing is this. We now have AS. Now going by the number of similar genes we have here for the children, we have 2 AS and 2 AA. So if you want to put it in a ratio form, we have a 50-50 chance of getting 2 normal children and 2 carrier children in this case. So 50-50 as the case may be. So did you get this? Write this down in your biology note and we do the next crossing.